Hey everyone, and welcome to Rise Above 2K. I'm Gax, here as always with the talent, the Unicorn Big, who on Tuesday made a big decision to take his talents to 2K and not retire, like social media may have speculated. The Unicorn Big, how are you doing, my man?
Bro, I'm great. Went to a Spurs playoff game or a Spurs preseason game against the Gazong Lions.
Okay.
Wimby is now 7-5. So we will see if they start making 7-5 available for 2K27.
This is just a rich get richer situation, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And Harper, Fox, and Castle were out. So when Luke Cornett, their other big, was on the floor, Wimby was playing point guard. So literally a 7-5 point guard running the floor in the 12 to 16 minutes that he actually played. It was pretty fun to watch, and we got a great deal. We were only 18 rows up, so that was cool. Yeah, ready for a basketball season to kick off.
A little birdie told me you're not going to go to 41 games this year. You're going to limit yourself to like 20 or something like that.
I'm only going to go to 10 Spurs games, but I think I convinced my wife to go to the Pistons Rockets game in Houston 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay. And how many games at the littlecaesars.com Bowl Arena will you be attending this year?
Maybe just one.
Okay.
Depends what your
Okay.
availability is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've never been there. I haven't been there for hockey or basketball. So as a true Detroit fan, I'm really falling apart there. But real quick before we get into today's the meat of today's episode, as always, Rise Above 2K, all things NBA 2K. And here on this specific show, we're chronicling the journey of the Unicorn Big from couch to pro-am, if you will. But we're built from our Discord community. You can join that in the show notes and also like and subscribe to this feed if you're enjoying what you're hearing. But I want to get into 2K26 a little bit from this week. How is this week gone for you? It's been some ups, some downs, but give us the cliff notes here.
Okay, so I was all pumped up last week. Got within 2 games of 500 after starting 33% win percentage in rec, and I think I lost 7 of 8 games. Uh, slid pretty bad. Slid back to silver plate. Um, so that was pretty excruciating. Just getting sold bad. I mean, having A-rated games where I shot 80% and we'd lose by 20 points.
Oh,
Just brutal.
yeah.
And then the last 2 or 3 days, got back on a streak a little bit. I'm glad to say that as of today, my rec record overall with all my builds is 500. I didn't sniff that last year. Earlier this year, I thought that would be a miracle to get to that, and I've gotten to 500. And after my last game, got back to purple plate. My 2 games that I played today, because I played a couple before work, but 2 I played after work. First game, triple double, love that.
Okay.
Second game, 45 points. I think I shot like 89% from 3. So the Unicorn Big, he's back.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about this grind because you fell back to a certain point. Did you change any of your play style or approach, or did you just believe in the process and knew that sort of the rating would take care of itself?
Well, I believed in the process a little bit, but I'm working harder to get myself open. I think making those first 1 or 2 shots is important so your team knows you can shoot. Figuring out ways to, um, when you're getting face guarded, to kind of change your approach a little bit. Um, there was one game earlier today before work where I could not get open on the 3, so I just did the pick and roll, and that got me a few points. But also the thing is too is your grade is offense and defense. So, if I'm not going to have a 45-point game, then I'm going to lock in on D and make sure my opposing big is not going to get points or, do much in the game. At least that's my goal. Um, but I never thought like, oh, I'm going to give up. Oh, I'm done. Oh, this is, it was like, you know what? I've got this. We're going to push forward. And today was great because I won four straight, and now I'm at 500, and I'm back to purple plate. Um, and let's go. I'm ready for that next phase and to get past 500 and use that kind of as my base for this weekend, and march to red.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the I mean, that's the next step in the goal, but it feels like with such a little bit of a setback that the last couple days have just been such a triumph. You had mentioned about putting up a couple shots early to let people know, hey, I can convert on these. One thing that I hear a lot through the 2K community is people's reluctance to pass in general. Do you think that's part of the key to how you've kind of proven yourself like I'm not just a big who's out there to whatever, you can show early, hey, I'm someone who's safe to pass to.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I'll pass to you, right? If you're open, I'll pass to
Yeah.
you. When I get offensive rebounds, I'm not big on the inside game. So when I get offensive rebounds, I'm kicking that thing out. Like I am a team player. If I get 2 points and two rebounds and two assists and an A grade and win the game, I am happy. Um,
Is that a double triple 2-2-2?
yeah, I would consider
Okay,
that a
okay,
double
cool. Yeah.
triple. Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so I want to talk just really quickly about rec play because you said you got to 500 and obviously that took quite an effort. We've chronicled some of the difficulties of queuing solo and sort of like as your rank rises, obviously the people you're around rise, but you found yourself down a little bit. What was it like ranking and queuing with randos in that time? Was it more trying, or were you able to just kind of carry things?
Well, I would say, there's luck involved and there's bad luck involved, right? So sometimes you just get these point guards that just won't like they just sprint down the court without the ball, and it's like I'm passing to the power forward because they're the only ones who will come down the court and actually take an inbound pass. So that's just ridiculous. Uh they don't wait for screens. It's like you might as well just play five out because like they don't wait for screens. So eventually I just give up trying to set screens. Um Having people who are like intentionally selling the game or like play so bad and then quit that you're in such a hole that it's hard to get out of by the time the AI kicks in, like it's really frustrating. Like I'm like everyone else out there. Like I hate getting sold. Like I absolutely hate getting sold. But I've had my bad games too,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
and you've got to, if somebody calls you trash, you just got to take it in stride, right? I
Right,
had
yeah.
this one game where when I missed um an open shot and I like let somebody get an offensive rebound and somebody called me trash. We ended up winning the game. I ended up shooting like 75% from three.
Let's go.
And I said at the end of the game, like I thought I was trash. I thought I was trash. Silence. Silence. Absolute silence, right? So it's like, you know, I think people, and this is kind of digressing, but people take the comms so seriously and they take like all the offensive stuff that gets said to them so seriously. And it's just like, dude, you're never going to meet these people. No one's going to like come to your door and like threaten you because you missed a couple shots because no one's ever going to find your address. Um, right. So like it's playing with randoms. I guess to cap this, it's a it's a way to build your mental fortitude.
Course. And it's all about mentality. And just a couple of quick shameless plugs. First, our Discord community is sort of an ego-free place to learn and grow as a community in terms of 2K. Second of all, I'm very excited to announce that our podcast has an official sponsor. We are sponsored by the haters, so keep fueling us with what you're gonna bring to the table. And third, I'd like to talk a little bit about the ranking situation to get into the sort of goal aspect of where you're going. How has the ranking progressed in terms of uh the Lone Star State and where the Unicorn Big has fallen?
Sure. So,
Not fallen, risen, I suppose would be the right word.
yes, unicorns rise. I think that's what they say. Maybe not. Yeah. Um.
Only
So
after dark, but we'll get into that later.
when we spoke last week, I believe we recorded last episode like 6 days ago. I was at 21,000 and change. Now I'm at 18,000 and change, which to some I'd say like, okay, that's like not a huge jump, but I think jumping 3,000 spots in
Yeah,
six
I mean,
days,
only a couple, man.
yeah, like that's, pretty big. I would like to get into the top 10,000 within, maybe a month. I think it's doable. I look at people's rec records that are up there and like, I think it's obtainable. Uh, I'm going to keep pushing. Uh, the rankings are showing that I'm climbing, and it's not like 100 a week or two a week, and I'm not falling backwards. I'm gaining fast. So I'm going to keep paying attention to that. And, top 15,000, here we come.
Well, yeah, I mean, one step at a time, right? But the nice thing is the progression has been made in droves, and really sort of when you think about where your goals are, where you want to be purple plate pushing into red plate, as you progress through those rankings, so will your in-state rankings sort of naturally. So having that positive mindset, that goal oriented, that like let's take this one game at a time and continue driving forward. I think that anyone who's trying to advance in the game and is listening to this voice, which all 12 of you, it's really exciting that you're here. But it's a mindset that everyone has to have going forward in terms of trying to grow.
Right, right. And I think a lot of players, um, they get into this thing where it's like they're plateaued and they just blame other people
Yeah,
and think they're better than they actually are. And I think I'm as good as I am today.
yeah. Yeah, well, and there's two things to this. One, you're really, really good at documenting your statistics and your pluses and minuses on a game to game basis. So you're consistently knowing whether you're performing above or below where your mean sits. And the other thing is we you touched on it earlier, but I want to bring it to the forefront a little bit. I spent some time in MOBA games, which League of Legends, things like that, where it's 5 versus 5. It's all random queue. It's super nerdy. It doesn't matter. But because you're dependent on four other people to handle their specific jobs, it always feels like more often than not, you have the person who's feeding on your team, and the other team is just fucking the Globetrotters just running roughshod over you. But in reality, in almost every case, everyone has a higher caliber player and everyone has a feeder. Do you ever see that when you're on the court when you're like, God, this guy's just dragging us down, that you can look across at your opponent and say, no, they've got one too. I just need to exploit that weakness a little bit.
Typically, yes. Um, you know, when you can notice that on their other team, you can leave them open a little bit. If they're your own person you're guarding, that's amazing. Because you can defend them lights out and shoot lights out, and that's great. But I guess the big thing is too, like when you have that on your own team, Um, you can be
Cover.
you can be well, yeah, you can be that guy who's gonna, talk trash and say that they're selling and all this, or you can try to communicate, try to get them involved, right? Because when I get the ball past me once a half, like the likelihood of me making that shot is way lower. When my confidence is down, the likelihood of making my shot is lower. So the community that we build on the Discord, uh, I really take some of those notes and some of those vibes into the games, and it's like you got to build each other up, right?
Yep. Oh,
And like
absolutely.
let that other team be the team that's going to drag each other down, talk
Yep.
trash, and you be the team that's going to build each other up. Because my guess is, and I don't know this for sure, but if you are watching an NBA game, the 12th man, I'm sure that their team isn't saying, "Oh, you're trash. You're
No.
dog
No.
water. Like, get off the court. I'm going to come to your
That
house." Like, all of that stuff, right? Like, they don't do that. They build each other up. And the teams that do that, my guess is they aren't the Oklahoma City Thunder.
No, you also said doo-doo, and second of all, our message today for everyone is just be better, be more kind, whatever it might be. But the point is important that every time if you're using the mentality that the seller is on my team versus there's a seller on that team, um you should always think more towards your opponent and less towards downgrading your status because you have the opportunity to have a better mindset and a better sort of achieving stance in terms of trying to advance in the game. um and for every time that we talk, every time we sit down and we chronicle your adventure, I think it's so important to talk about the mindset because you have such a consistently positive mindset and you're not letting setbacks get in the way. You're not letting, randos in queue get in the way. You're not letting whatever BS get in the way. It's all about being positive. It's all about knowing where your skill sets lie and just leaning on them and achieving.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, behind the scenes, we talk a little bit about your game outside of the once a week we sit down and do this, but I think it's yeah, after that great uplifting message, I think we get into again heavily covered terrain by any talk show of all time. Today we have our Mount Rushmore of the NBA. And I think, as always, you get to lead us off because hopefully everyone will stop watching by the time I go and won't fire too much hate at me because mine's a little more modern. So we're gonna do the four in no particular order because Mount Rushmore doesn't have like a ranking, although we could argue about that too. And we'll give an OLI, an outside looking in, as well.
Okay.
Start with the OLI, then run through the Mount Rushmore, but it doesn't have to be in order. You're probably going to start with MJ anyway, so fire away.
Okay. So let's each do our Mount Rushmore and then do the OLI.
And then do the OLI? All right, yeah, all right.
Okay.
Fire away with your Mount Rushmore.
Okay. So, earth shattering picks. Here we go. We're going MJ. We're going LeBron. We're going Magic.
Okay.
And we're going Kareem.
Okay.
I mean, how it's pretty tough to argue with Michael. I mean, probably the best player of all time. I know you will have some arguments, but the person
He's
who they
not,
do
but that's
argue
okay.
with, LeBron, he's right there. Magic, I think he literally changed the game. I was watching this Magic Johnson documentary on Apple TV, and MJ said, "Everyone says I changed the game, but Magic changed the game. I just came after him." They literally, when Michael Jordan was in high school, he had a vanity plate on the front of his car that said Magic Mike. He wanted to be like Magic Johnson.
Magic
Um,
Mike's a different thing. I just want to throw that out there for those
yes,
who are uninitiated.
yes, yes, and
Okay, Google that later. Google that
then
GTS.
Kareem, Kareem. 6 titles, 6 MVPs. It's hard to argue with Kareem being on there. So that's my Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so while you were giving your Mount Rushmore, because I kind of had an idea of where this was going, I typed, who is the NBA Mount Rushmore into Gemini? And they said Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, and Magic, like with no need for explanation or deeper thought. Mostly because it doesn't exist, and they're just scanning whatever was previously on Bill Simmons and Colin Cowherd. But congratulations for the. Anyway, LeBron and MJ are on mine too. So there you go. You got the two, and then modern statistics whatever me. It's Curry and Jokic. Curry's the greatest shooter that's ever lived. It's not close. He can shoot from anywhere. He's going to put it through the hoop. And Jokic is, yeah, earlier in his career, but his statistical anomalies in terms of triple doubles and just everything he does on both sides of the court, and no one can stop his shot. It's the things that he does. It's incredible. And the crazy thing is, he doesn't even want to be here. Like, basketball's got to be not even on his Mount Rushmore of passions. It's just what he does for a job, which is pretty crazy. I'm going to let you fire away the OLI. I already know where this is going because behind the scenes I already know. And anyone who's listened for up to 6 episodes knows. So fire away. For the podcast only audience, he's holding up a 91 Bulls jersey for the camera for the YouTube audience. Who you got as your OLI, Unicorn Big?
So first, I'm gonna have two
Oh boy.
two
Okay,
crazy
two
horses,
OLIs. Yep.
and I know you're gonna disqualify him because he's pre-merger, but you got to throw Bill Russell on there.
No, not pre-merger people.
Well, I'm putting him on there because
Okay.
11 titles and he coached them.
I'll put on another post-merger to make up for it.
And then, of course, how could you have an OLI of the Mount Rushmore of the NBA if you don't mention the Worm? Se- 7 straight rebound titles.
Yep.
Should have
The
gone to every All-Star game. Didn't because the league hated him.
the second best defensive player of all time.
5 titles. I mean, if you really look at Dennis Rodman, he is one of the greatest players of all time. And maybe it's a slight stretch putting him at Crazy Horse. But at the end of the day, he does not get the respect that he deserves for his career.
Okay.
Plain and simple. OLI, especially if we're talking post merger, I'm going with the Worm.
Yep. Okay. All right. So so my OLI is Kareem because you didn't make it in my top 4. And
Controversial pick.
yeah, I know, right? I don't really need to think about that. Since you open up second OLI, I'll go with the best defensive player of all time, and that is Draymond Green. Cannot be
Oh
stopped.
my God.
Kid does not allow anyone by him. And hey, by the end of this year, he might have another championship. So stay tuned. Before I get into the classic rap of whatever and whatever nonsense, tell us what you're focusing on this week, where your goals are, sort of what you're thinking about as you go into this weekend's a big weekend of 2K play, but moreover, you have goals throughout the week. What are you looking at here?
So a few things. I think my biggest one is to gain a few thousand again over the course of
Mhm.
the next week in ranking. Get a little bit further into purple plate and
Yes.
get that as my floor. Get over 500 and stay there. Those would kind of be my few. And then my other goal is time management. Um, we have basketball season coming up. Hockey season just started. I'm a big fan of 2 NBA teams, so there's literally going to be games every night. So I've played the most on my crew, and I had to figure out a way to keep up all my gameplay while I'm keeping up with all of my major sports teams that I care so much about.
You totally skipped baseball, which may go into next week for you too.
Yes, this is also true. Go Tigers. Um, but those would be my goals. And then I guess the the biggest one is just to have a positive feeling about the next 7 days and feel like I continuing to progress, right? Because this whole thing about Rise Above 2K, it's not about me being the best, because obviously I'm not. If you play with me, you'll know I'm not the best, but I'm trying to become elite and I want to continue that march. So those would be my goals.
So I have a goal too, and well, you know, fortunately or not, ropes you in. But the goal is for us to be able to continue this discussion every week, to be able to make a timely publishing for you all to be able to digest this, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on the podcast network, or whether you're just consuming us through TikTok or wherever it may be. So we want to stay to that as well. We want to be able to have releases every Thursday or Friday for you. I'm committing to that as well. So we've got a lot to do between the two of us, and always with the positive mentality, because that's what we bring here at Rise Above 2K. We've got a lot more to come. Stay tuned. Be around, and that's the excitement for the week. Any last words before I give the cliff notes here, Unicorn?
No, I'll say this again. Dennis Rodman, the most underrated player of all time.
It's Draymond Green.
Being 500 feels good after being in the swamps.
Yes.
And Wimby 7'5", which is crazy.
7'5". Yeah, extraterrestrial is what we call that.
Yes.
Anyway, that's a wrap for this episode of Rise Above 2K. Thank you, Unicorn Big, for being here. As always, if you enjoyed the show, want to stay ahead of the game, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and for more exclusive content, everything, make sure you join our Discord. All the links you need are in the show notes below. Keep rising above, and we will see you in the next episode. Cheers, guys.